Hello, everyone, and welcome to Afternoon Tea. My name is Brittany. I decided to do it a little bit differently today. So, yes, we are not in our usual locale. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to sit on the couch and we're just going to do it the way we do it for our members only live streams, guys, in case you don't know. So, oh my goodness, it has been a week. It has been an absolute week. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are sort of revealing themselves to be the vultures that they are. And tragedy vultures, greedy vultures, like vultures of every pop and imagination. And so this tour, we've got to discuss it because there's a lot of things going on. And I think there's like a 10,000 foot view, a 20,000 foot view, and a 30,000 foot view on how to look at this. Because in some respects, you can say, hey, this is doing amazing. Oh my gosh, they're getting so many people to come out. Like there's been no big protests or anything like that. But at the same time, there's not a lot of other things happening either. Her brand is still failing. Their Hollywood careers are still failing. This little jaunt in Australia is a nice, shiny distraction, but does not address the problems going on behind the scenes. It really doesn't. And we also have the big weirdness of Marcus Anderson being there all the time with them. It's like creepy. He's like the third person in their marriage. It's getting odd. He was there with them seemingly like the entire time. I'm like, do you need Marcus to travel with you so you two can be in the same room together? Like, what the heck is going on? Obviously, her merching as well, especially on Bondi Beach, was disgusting. She actually changed her picture about that. She didn't show the same picture. And so you can't help but wonder, is she like, you can't do both. This is the thing that this tour has revealed. You can't do both. You can't live in both worlds. You have to choose one. And no matter what you choose, it has to be the one that works for, that actually makes sense for the life that you have. You cannot have both. You have to choose one path. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's some aspects of what Harry and Meghan are doing that are not necessarily, you could say, wrong. But the motivation behind it is wrong. And you just even have to look to Princess Madeline of Sweden to see how to be sort of a half in, half out royal and do it right. Harry and Meghan don't do it right. They come across, especially Meghan, as exceptionally greedy. It's like, is she only attending events because she can merch off them? Like she had an entire new wardrobe, right? Because she could merch off it. That is sort of the big thing here, the big reveal, the big like glaring sign that when it comes to Harry and Meghan, they're just vultures picking at scraps trying to create a meal. And and it's sad. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. There are things they could be doing that would work fine, that would remove all criticism. But they refuse to do it. And it's just so simple. And they just refuse to. So, guys, buckle up. And why does the palace not do anything? There are so many thoughts that I have here. And I'll reference a Rebecca English article. And we have other articles as well talking about it. I don't have them all pulled up. It's been a busy, crazy week. So in some ways, I may not have that much to share. Unfortunately, my voice has gotten a little rough recently. I was coughing a lot last night. So all this to say that I sort of get what the palace is thinking, but to me, it's so disturbing because it's like, you tried this. You tried this already. You tried this strategy with Andrew and Sarah, and it ended disastrously. And I can't help but think, who's going to be Harry and Meghan's Epstein? Is it Marcus? Who is going to be their Epstein? Because they will fall for an Epstein. Why? Because they're greedy and grubby. They're not creating a business. They're not creating a brand, really. They're just monetizing and commoditizing the royal titles again and again and again. That's the only reason why anybody showed up. It's the only reason why they made any money, are those stinking titles. And if they could just, for the life of them, for their own sanity, figure out how to make a business without talking about royalty without trying to mimic it, they'd be so much better off. They'd be so much better off. And we do have a super chat right here, Diz fan, kicking us off strong, saying this cosplay royal tour is exactly what the Queen warned about. Exactly. Yes. It's exactly what a lot of people warned about. I believe myself included, sort of talked about this as well. It's this cosplay royal tour just can't work. You can't, again, you just have to see the example. A Meghan Markle meeting with 6 children in a hospital and then merching her outfit. And obviously she got a paid partnership, I'm sure, to wear that dress. I'm sure she got a paid partnership to wear that dress. And then on Bondi Beach, meeting with the victims of a terrorist attack. And here, merch my outfit. Oh my gosh. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. And again, there are ways to do this where things actually function well, where they're actually being business people. They're going and they're promoting something. But I mean, the big thing I want to capitalize on, of course, at the beginning here, guys, just to start off, we do also have Carol here. So I'll hit Carol here real quick. But guys, this is all flash and no substance. And that does not last forever. That cannot last forever. And so we got over here, Carol, as well. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I'm just so disturbed. I lay the responsibility at Charles's feet. He should look at the royal titles, HRH, Counselor of State, line of succession, and stripping them from the website. He should. He must. He must. There is no two bones about it. You have to do this. Again, guys, I have my Coca-Cola here. If there was a company with Coca-Cola spelled with a K, same font, same colors, in a can, Coca-Cola would sue the crap out of them and take them for every freaking dollar they're worth back to their 3rd generation. That's what Coca-Cola would do. And the royals need to treat royalty the same freaking way. You have to treat it that way. So, again, I do have that picture I purchased. So let me just pull up the picture here. Guys, and I'm so sorry about my voice. It's just, I think, man, I just kept, like, I'm mostly over it. But last night I started coughing a heck of a lot more. And I think it obviously impacted my voice. So here they are, Bondi Beach, merching. Those sunglasses are hideous. Meghan, by the way, I think she's trying to be a Kardashian or something. Not working. So 10,000 view look at this tour, which is probably how Harry and Meghan are looking at this. And they think it's a smashing success. They got a lot of people to turn out. A lot of people seemed rather happy to see them. And they got what you could say is a warm welcome. And they got to achieve what they wanted. Meghan got money. That's all she cares about. Harry got to pretend he's royal again. That's all he cares about. And so in that respect, to them, it worked out fairly well. A lot of the criticism that they got in the media before they went on the trip sort of dimmed down as they were on the trip. Obviously, there weren't huge, massive protests. People showed up to see them. And so in some ways, you could say and mark this as a success, man. I mean, I'm sure that's what in their minds, diluted as they're flying back to California in first class or business class, going, yeah, look at us. Like, we did it. We showed the royal family what's this and that and all this. And they're like pumping themselves up. But the 20,000 foot view is a little different. It's a little different because, yes, people showed up. But why did people show up? I mean, let's be honest. It's like people like seeing famous people. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but it's true. People go and see famous people. If you're at a location where people tend to be, you will attract a crowd if you are a famous person. I'll share this story. And I was in Rome, and this is what's very stupid. I'm very excited. I just announced, guys, last week that we have an upcoming trip. And if you wait a couple of days, guys, I am able to announce like a little bit of a discount. So I would like, if you're thinking about it, just wait a couple of days and I will let you know when that's on. But I'm hoping to go to Rome next year. I haven't been to Rome in 26 years. And At the time we were in Rome, they were filming Ocean's 12. And there was a restaurant supposedly where George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Julia Roberts, maybe Catherine Zeta-Jones, were all eating in. And so we were on a tour. We were in high school. I was a junior in high school, I think. Or maybe, I can't remember now. I was maybe junior to senior. I can't remember. Anyways. And so we were all waiting outside this restaurant. And we should have gone to see the Pantheon. We were out there at a restaurant trying to see Brad Pitt and maybe George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones or whatever. This was pre-Angelina Jolie. And of course, they never actually came out. And we missed seeing the Pantheon. And there was a crush of people there. Why? Because there's this famous person there. So in the 20,000 foot view, the 10,000 foot view, Harry and Meghan are like, oh, they're just so excited to see us. Everybody came out to see us because we're so popular and this and that. The 20,000 foot view, which I think is a more accurate view, is that people happened to be there. People happened to see them or saw some sort of commotion and was like, famous person. Because again, people like famous people. And guys, I do have to let you know because I am hearing somebody walk out. So Miss Pippa's out on the porch. So I may have to yell at her or go out and get her. She likes barking at the neighbor dogs, but she's been very quiet and it's been a stressful week. So I think she's enjoying kind of having like porch time because porch time to her is precious. Anyways, so 20,000 foot view. People just came because they wanted to see a famous person. They also highly publicized this tour and got the media very, very much engaged in this tour to the point that it was fresh in people's minds and people were like, oh yeah, let's go see or whatever. And maybe this will be the 30,000 foot view, but we'll keep it at the 20 because I think it's true. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also argue and posit, I do not have any proof of this at all. But given how highly choreographed this was, I would not be surprised in the slightest at all if there were some people gathered there purposefully by Harry and Meghan's PR team. I'm just going to put that out there as a distinct possibility. And so it goes to a level of the artificialness of this, that there's an artificial aspect to it, that it's all glitz and glamour. But as we get to the 30,000 foot view, what did this Australian trip truly accomplish? She didn't launch as ever in Australia. As ever is still failing in the States. She sent a horrifically awful email while she was on the trip. She's not really she's reusing pictures constantly that are at least 2 years old. She shared again the kind of the creepy picture where, it could look like a noose around somebody's neck, like a hanging. It could look like that based on the picture. And she shared that again. And it's like, she's like, fill your pantry. And I'm like, with what? I don't understand. And I actually have a counter email, if I remember, or you guys remember me. There's a counter email from Lisa Eldridge, which I think is spot on, where she is reminding you of her brand, but also not really trying to sell you anything. She's just telling you how to look at the makeup that you have and create a bronzer out of it. That's a good email. Meghan Markle's email was crap. Yeah. So 30,000 foot view, I think, is that this is all distraction. This is all facade. This is all flash, but no substance. They have not accomplished anything. What did I tell you? Can you hear her? Pippa, honey bunny. She's just very excited. Okay. Come on, Pippa. Calm down. Okay. Anyways. Sorry, guys. Porch time is very important. But it's all this just like, look at us, look at us, look at us. But at the end of the day, there was nothing accomplished. Nothing in this tour actually did anything. And because their job now is not to be royal. Their job is to be a producer, an entrepreneur, I don't know, Harry's, I guess, a professional speaker, so he accomplished some of that. But their job, they should have actual jobs. This is not a job. Them right here, guys, that is not a job. It's not a job. And that's a big problem for them because, yes, this one went well. But given that it was all flash and no substance, guys, I don't think all other roads will be as successful. Colombia and Nigeria were a fail. Australia was a little better. But I don't know if this success will translate long term because they are devoid of substance. They are devoid of anything to do a job. They're lazy. They're grifters. And I mean, we're as disgusting as look at my outfit as I meet victims of terrorism. Buy my shirt so you can support me as I attempt to look sympathetic at victims of terrorism. Now, guys, I will try to. So I had like a weird issue with X this week. And so I kind of got signed out. And I get signed back in on my phone, but it won't let me sign in back on the website. It's like it's supposed to send a notification to my phone and it's just not doing that. It's very annoying. So we will attempt to try this again. It's supposed to send me a verification code. It's just not doing it. I don't know why. But there is a video of her and she is meeting victims. And you can tell this woman is so devoid of giving a crap about any of this. Like she's like, it's some of the worst acting I have ever seen. It's awful. Sorry, I don't think I can pull it up. It's so annoying. Like it'll send a notification to, well, maybe I'll just attempt to share with you guys like it on my phone. Because again, for some reason, Twitter has been weird the last couple of days, but I think you may be able to see it a little bit on the phone, but hold on. Like, look at this attempt at acting. Look at that. Look at how bad that is. She is dead-eyed. She cannot give a crap. Like, she is genuinely bad at this. Genuinely bad at looking like she's caring at all. I mean, especially at the beginning there. Like that. Like that face. Oh my gosh. It's horrible. It's terrible. And it's because she doesn't. And this reveals, again, at the 30,000 foot view, this reveals the big chasm of this tour, which is that they're claiming a good chunk of this is about charity when it's really all about money. And those two things cannot coexist. Yes, a charity needs money to function, but you cannot do charity and look altruistic while you're also trying to turn a buck at the same time. Those two things are incompatible. It's why royals don't do them. It's why Catherine does not have a page, even though there's a bunch of people that'll tell you exactly what she's wearing. She herself, if she's visiting victims, let's say she's visiting Southport and the victim, those poor girls who were killed by that young man, and she's visiting them, she is not merching her dress, her coat, her shoes. Other people you could say are, but she's not. She is not there to turn a buck for showing up and showing her face. She's there to represent the monarchy. She's there to represent the royal family. She's there to represent broadly the British people, the British government. That is what she is doing. She's not there to walk in and to be seen for the sole purpose of turning a dollar. And that's what Meghan is doing. And it's so incredibly dangerous. Because why did she go? Why did she go to any of those events? Why? It's so she could merch off them. I'm going to visit sick children, buy my dress. I'm going to meet victims of terrorism, buy my shirt and my pants. Make me money for showing up and being charitable. That's disgusting. That's disturbing. And Influencers do that. And it's disgusting when they do it too. But, and if I was a British person, and I'm not, I spend a lot of time in the UK, and I know there's a lot of you Brits out there, but if I was a British person, I'd be immensely offended that this woman married into the royal family, took taxpayer money for her wedding, for her security for a period of time, and decided that no, she can't do it. It's too hard. It's too hard. It's too difficult. I'm so trolled. Poor is me. Poor me. But then can flip and walk around and instead decide, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and I'm going to do exactly the same thing I was supposed to do for you and your government. But now I'm going to just do it for me and my bank account. Like, that's horrible. That's wildly offensive. And she just simply looks, guys, immensely greedy. It looks like all she cares about is her bank account. And that is all she cares about. That is all she cares about is her bank account. The thing that motivates Meghan, I think more than anything else, is solely money. All she wants is money. You want her to turn up? Give her money. You want her to do something for you? Give her money. You want her to flog your fashion? Give her money. Do you want her to look charitable? Give her money. Everything about Meghan Markle is money. It's money, 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 money. And there is nothing wrong with that in some ways. I think the pursuit of money is the root of all evil. And I honestly think as well, people who solely pursue money for money's gain things tend to go badly for them in life, because that is the pursuit of money. Again, is the root of all evil, rather than somebody building successful and reaping the financial rewards from that. But now I've lost sort of my train of thought. But if she was just like a Kardashian, if she was just like Kris or Kim or Khloe or Courtney or Kendall or Kylie or whoever, and they just kind of live by, yeah, we're just oftentimes out here to make money. That's what we're here to do is make money. People can be okay with that. I think what screws Meghan in so many ways is her desire to play both sides. Is to, I'm charity and I'm charitable, I'm altruistic, but I also want you to give me money. And again, like I said, guys, those two things cannot coexist. Those two things cannot coexist. So you could have a world where working royals, in order to, let's say, make money for themselves and, support themselves in these sorts of things, do merch as part of their job, do show up to events and merch their products. But then you got to wonder, are they showing up because they want to, because it's their job, because they feel like they need to do so, or are they doing it because they're motivated by money? And once you put the motivated by money into the royal sphere, it destroys the system, because the system cannot coexist if the royals are just after it for the greed. That's medieval times. That's other things. And that's incredibly critical to understand. If royals are motivated solely by money, it removes any bit of what they do from being above board. Not to say that, let's say, William, his job as a Duke of Cornwall is to have the profile of the Duchy of Cornwall be healthy. Same with Charles and the Duchy of Lancaster. The Dutch royals, I know, have a big share of Dutch oil shell or Dutch royal gas or whatever. And so they do make money from that. And I'm sure they have some sort of influence a bit on the company, but they shouldn't be going, let's say, all the time and going to the oil refineries and, taking like, what are you doing? Are you making enough oil for me? No, they need to be working. They need to be representing their government, because the whole point of royalty is that they represent more than just themselves. When every event now is motivated by individual financial greed, it destroys that entire balance, because the balance of royalty, which is so hard to maintain in some ways, because royals have to look good. They can't look, let's say, but they can't break the bank. So you have to look like you're royal, but you can't overly look like you're royal. The kind of the counter to that would be, of course, like the Monaco royals. Monaco royals have a heck of a lot of money, That's how the country is. So Princess Charlene, she almost never rewears something. Everything's new. She can go shopping all the time and spend like $1 million. It's fine. But not that she should go do that all the time, but she can do that because that's the system that they have. Basically, most of the rest of the royal systems do not operate in that way, or at least the European ones don't. Liechtenstein would be another more Monaco style situation. But most of the rest of the world, they represent the government. They get a stipend from the government in one way or another, like either through the duchies or through like direct payments or these sorts of things. So there's and they have to maintain this balance of looking royal, being royal, but not going too far to look like king and dictator, and that they're only after anything for the money. And Meghan, you could say to her benefit or credit or whatever, she thought royalty should pay her. Not that she gets £2 million a year to do with what she pleases to help support her life, but no. That anytime she gets out of bed, it's kind of like that model quote, I won't get out of bed for $10,000. Meghan Markle's the same way. She won't get out of bed unless she can get a paycheck. And you cannot have the charity and the business side function in that way. This tour fundamentally from a above board thing does not work. It causes tension. This is why I think she actually changed the picture on her one-off page. She actually changed it because she was on Bondi Beach originally. And I think she changed it in front of Sydney Harbor because of criticism that she's marching off terrorist victims. And she's going to do that all the time, guys. That she is always going to step on that landmine. She can't not avoid it because she's too driven by money, too driven by greed to see the bigger picture. And I think this reflects as well, guys, is that the finances for them are not going well. They're not making as much money as they thought they would. The Netflix deal is gone. The money they're getting from publishing is slowing down quite a bit. They don't have Spotify. They don't have other things. The income streams are dwindling, and a lot of their Netflix money ended up tied up in, as ever, inventory that's not moving. She has not introduced a new product this year. Shame on her for not doing that. It was like something lame, like a bookmark, but like the brand looks totally stagnant, guys. It's like, it's so obvious they cannot get through their inventory to save their lives. And she gets very small bits and pieces. Like she's like, oh, I did this bookmark one time and it was supposed to be a free giveaway. Well, I'll sell it now in bundles with a new one that she only probably got 100 of them. Like she's not spending that much to try to get more. And this is a problem. The brand does not look healthy as ever. As ever looks completely and utterly stagnant. It's not moving, no new products, no new nothing. It's bad. And so she doesn't have anything of that to rely on. I don't think Cookie Queens will be great. I don't think there's so many things that are just not going great for them. And Australia, sure, they could use it as a bit of an ATM, but it's only a short high. The crash is going to come later. The crash is going to come back to California. And the thing is, even if they can show that there's a lot of attention on them, Hollywood has seen the same thing at this point. There's a lot of attention on them, but Netflix can prove, hey guys, that attention does not convert to viewers. The only people making money off Harry and Meghan are really in the news space. That's the people who are making money off of them. Now, there's been a bit with like the finances or whatever when it comes to like some of the merching, or like, oh, the Meghan effect is real. The Meghan effect is real. And I'm like, but even that, guys, even a little bit, let's say, of a growth there does not equal long-term growth. And I don't think will result in long-term growth. I think it'll stagnate like everything else. Yeah, her As Ever stuff sold out the first time. I still can't believe people bought that ugly as heck dress that made her look like SpongeBob SquarePants, but I guess a sucker is born every minute because now it's back on pre-orders or whatever, but who knows how real some of this inventory was in the first place. If they had 5 of each dress, I mean, she does have like a small cadre of fans who are dumb enough to buy something that looked hideous on her and will probably look hideous on them too. But I think it's a short high. Like everything else, guys, it's going to be a short high. The crash comes when Hollywood is going to go, yeah, we saw you got attention, but I'm looking at the numbers of Netflix and nobody finished your gosh darn show. So why the heck should a couple of people showing up for you in person to an event when you're a famous person like anybody else? How is that supposed to get me as a producer to like buy more into your inventory? Like it just doesn't make any sense. The fantasy that Harry and Meghan created, that's what you should see it as this week. It's a fantasy. Reality is they're still failing. That's a reality. This trip, again, it was a little bit of moolah that they got, a little bit of positive press, but everything else is still falling apart behind the scenes. And I don't think this distractionary effort will fix that. Because Meghan Markle, how is you going to Australia fixing the problem of as ever failing? You should be focused on that. Why are you doing this dumb Australia trip? You don't need to do that. Focus on as ever. If it's so important for you, focus on it and try to revive it because it's a dead brand. But Meghan and Harry are lazy. Meghan and Harry have always wanted to take the shortcut. And this is a shortcut right now. This is a shortcut right now. And again, the high here is temporary. It's a temporary high. It's going to crash. It's not going to go anywhere. They're not going to grow. And it's just going to be, unfortunately, I think we're going to see more of these because these actually pay. But I think, again, just like everything else, what has the trajectory of every single freaking Meghan Markle project have been? Lots of eyes and then no one. Lots of eyes and then no one. Lots of eyes and then no one. Why? Because they realize there's no substance. And I think other people realize as well, if they do more of these, that sure, Harry and Meghan show up and listen, but nothing else happens. Sure, Harry and Meghan walk around and get accolades, but there's no actual benefit. And that's the thing. Royals come with the power of the governments they represent. When Australia hosted King Frederick and Queen Mary, they came with the power of the Danish government. Harry and Meghan have nothing but their own egos. And that it's not going to get anybody anything. And I think, again, we will see more of this, but diminishing returns. And maybe they just sort of got like lucky type of thing. But again, it doesn't distract from like, let's say the bigger failures of the way. Sorry, I'm switching up my feet configuration. So I have a little rolling desk. It is quite nice. So this is definitely, I think, disappointing to a lot of people. But guys, I did say, like people thought nobody would show up to the crowds and stuff like that. It's just people like famous people. And I think that's in a way, that's how Harry and Meghan should see all this is people want to see famous people. You're famous, ergo you generate a crowd. But also, again, guys, it's just hard for me not to fathom that some of this is a result of, I mean, you could even say actors. I don't know, extras, something. Some of this was likely very carefully orchestrated by their PR team to have certain results. And those results look good for them, but I just don't know how real any of it is, to be honest. So that's my thought process, is that I don't think a lot of it is very real. And I think a lot of this is just a lot of noise. Again, all they do is generate noise and no substance. And again, the tragedy vultureness of them is just insane. So let's move on a little bit to this whole new thing Meghan Markle is doing one-off. Because that's obviously a huge thing when she was on Bondi Beach and she's like, you know what? I'm going to merch off this. So here she is. And again, guys, looking at this list, nobody on here is all that impressive, really. I feel like most of these people are sort of passé, to be honest. Emma Chamberlain is one of the few who I think is kind of on the up and up type of thing. And I was actually, I came across Emma Roberts' Instagram yesterday, and I did think actually it was sort of interesting what she was doing. I mean, it's been weird that Meghan Markle hasn't done anything on Instagram for this trip. And not that I'm saying like you have to do a ton or anything, but like what's the point of her Instagram? Like that's a big question too. What is the point of it when you should be doing certain things? So Emma Roberts, I actually found her kind of engaging. I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is fake. Because again, you got to think about this with Megan as well. Megan's an actress, guys. She can fake a lot of things. Not well, but she attempts to. And so there's just not a lot there. Most actors and actresses, there's just not a lot of intellect there, to be honest. That's why they became actors and actresses. But anyways, Emma Roberts had this sort of interesting thing where I guess she goes and finds not old book, but like first first editions of certain books and stuff like that. So I actually found that to be kind of engaging. And that was something I thought. So what Megan does on her Instagram is really nothing. Like Emma's at least, she gives you kind of like this little interesting side piece, whereas Megan gives you nothing. Megan's, I don't even think that's a good picture of her, to be honest. I still don't understand. She's horrible at posing. Like all these pictures are so much better. And honestly, just looking at them, a lot of them are a heck of a lot more engaging. You got a lot more interesting fashion than a plain white t-shirt, button-up t-shirt. So, and this website, guys, is clunky. It's a horrible website. Like that she invested in this is embarrassing because it's a bad website. It's a genuinely bad website. Um, so see, look how long it doesn't move well at all. And so what I also think is kind of interesting here is that because of how the website is set up, guys, you could tell whether or not something is sold out. So you could look at that and go, I'm not clicking on the link because that would put a cookie and that would, oops, that would result in maybe Meghan getting a hit of something. But if you go, let's see, Relaxed Sailor is probably it or something. What is the design called? Sailor jeans. And if you look, what's kind of interesting is that she runs the risk, you could say, of us being able to see how little she actually moves product. That's the thing. She has this fantasy that she moves a crap ton of product. I mean, she even claims to have moved a lot of Hermes product. But when you actually look at this here, the Sailor Jean Comfort Off-White, which looks like the same one she has. Guys, those are all the sizes still available. Only 24 and 23 are out. Let's see if we move to white. It says all out. Hers looks more cream to me, to be honest, rather than white. Let's see. It doesn't say what the color, but her color honestly looks cream rather than white or off-white. So she's not moving product. Not moving product the way she wants you to think she's moving product. And again, who's to say that she's not having somebody buy some of this herself so she looks like she's doing better than she is. Now, again, there will be people who buy her stuff. I'm not denying that at all. But what's interesting to consider as well is that there's always the very distinct possibility, like even in book selling and those sorts of things. Sorry, I'm looking at something, so I'm not totally paying attention. But or I'm on a different site. But like people buy things in order to like there just became a report out about what's his name, Gavin Newsom, that he went out and he bought a whole bunch of his books. And so if we have this Mateo, and I actually thought that outfit for Meghan wasn't terrible, but there are still sizes here available 2, 3, 4, 6. I don't even know what size that is. That must be an Australian thing or something. Now, maybe she sold out some, but I think the Meghan effect is much less than she believes it is. She thinks everything she wears sells out. Although this ugly dress over here, guys. I'm still not sure why the heck anybody would remotely buy that ugly dress. And she's not even particularly stylish, guys. She styled it basically the same way it is on the website, which was not good either. Like it's ugly. It's genuinely ugly. And so I think Meghan has this fantasy and she wants it to be true so badly. And she wants her appearances to make her money. But honestly, this website, it was a bad choice, I think. I think honestly she'll lose money on this investment. That's my personal thought there, because I shared with you guys in the video about it that Vogue Business said in their initial beta launch, they had 100 celebrities signed up, including Bella Hadid, Kendall Jenner, Hailey Bieber, like actual movers and shakers in fashion. And they all left. It's a year later and they're all gone. Less than a year later and they're all gone. So to me, that seems to scream that this didn't work. And honestly, I can see why just from a website design, it's not, and it's not even an app yet. It's like, why would you, this would look much better on an app. It seems to be that that's what they want, but I'm still haven't seen. Hold on, let me try looking again just to see if I'm missing something here. But I don't think it's even an app yet. Yeah, it's not an app. And it should be an app. It's you have to be like on your computer. It doesn't even work well on the phone. It's a horrible, clunky design. Like from a website design functionality. Like if I was guys investing in a company like this, that would be my first thing is going, the website sucks. You've made it too complicated. You've made it all shiny and these sorts of things. But that shininess diminishes functionality, and functionality is key if you're trying to sell something. If you're wanting people to watch a video, if you're wanting people to see beautiful scenery and those sorts of things, that type of website or that type of kind of more stylized content, you could say, could work. But for like shopping websites, guys, shopping websites are generic and they're simple. And the reason why they're generic and simple is because it helps you buy product. If you can't buy product because the website is too difficult to navigate, you have to press too many buttons, people will log off. That is sort of the reality. If you're not familiar with sort of website design or website functionality, that is something they look for, is like you need a really good website. And again, I would say Shop My is much better. I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to see if does it come up like that. Oh, Real Fashion News. Okay, I must have spelled it incorrectly. Anyways, so guys, if you like, I think Real Fashion News is like so much, or sorry, Shop My is so much better. Like that works so much better. You click it, shop now. You know, it's right there. It's not super complicated. I think Royal Outfits is a bit better. Maybe some of these are a bit. You guys will have to let me know. Do you think that's a bit too messy? Anyways, I was trying to think of ways to do things differently. But anyways, like these are super easy. Click on it. You can click all the items here you can buy. I think the best I did though was if I had royal dupes, this is the best. So I could, put the picture of Catherine next to that picture, those sorts of things. So that way you could see the possibility there. Super easy website though. I'm still not sure why Meghan didn't stick with Shop My. And again, I think it's because the Shop My didn't work. She wasn't what she found out is that people weren't buying her stuff. And so she's like trying the same thing again. And I don't think it'll work. And then you had the added bit of it sort of being disgusting to walk around a hospital claiming to want to reach out to children when you clearly got, I think, a paid brand placement for that dress and then are merching off it at the same time. Now, granted, again, guys, the caveat to this is if she was just being an influencer going to a promotional event for her brand, no issue with that. But she's claiming charity and altruism but also trying to turn a buck while doing it. Would she have worn that dress if she wasn't paid to? No, I don't think she would have. It's not her style. She would not have paid that, and she would not have worn that unless it was paid for. And that's a problem. Catherine wears stuff she likes. Maxima wears stuff she likes. Actually, I was obsessed yesterday. I got like a bit of a side trail because I really love Maxima's look, one of her looks from the tour. I think I actually bought the picture. So it's not a fancy look by any means, but guys, I am in love with this look. It's so clean and sharp. I was trying to find a skirt this is a Natan skirt she's had for a couple years now. So I was trying to find something that mimicked it, but I love the white shirt there with the skirt. So now I'm kind of obsessed with trying to find something that is a bit similar to that because I just think that's such a clean look. It's just such a clean look and so simple. But Maxima's wearing this because she genuinely likes it. I've also seen her wear some crazy weird things. Like there's an outfit she has. It's a necklace that looks like it was something taken from the theatrical production of The Lion King. And she wears that. I'm like, and her hair is like wild. I'm like, oh, but she's wearing that because she wants to wear it, not because somebody is paying her to. That chasm, guys, is so huge and so critical. Royals wear something because they like it. I mean, Crown Princess Victoria, I would love it if she wore some different things because I don't think the style she naturally gravitates for actually fits her sort of, she looks better and more, I would say she likes florals, but she doesn't have soft features. And so I think she naturally fits more streamlined, kind of maybe edgy ensembles more than something uber feminine. And that's something too. I look better in uber feminine. I look weird in something like edgy. That's kind of a broad term, but I'm just trying to think of something. But you have to understand how your body looks, how your body functions, and you have to wear things that look good for you because you want them to. And actually, the dress didn't look bad on Meghan, but she never would have chosen that herself. It's not her style. She chose it because somebody paid her to. She wore it because she got a paycheck for doing so. I think, obviously the merching side of it, but I honestly think it was a paid promotional sponsorship type thing. She's like, if you pay me enough, give me your offers and I will wear your dress first off the plane. I bet you that was the notice that went around. And people, of course, bid because it does help, but it's not going to actually help Meghan at the end of the day. Because again, she's trying to play both sides and failing miserably. You have to choose one or the other. And especially it looks bad when you're on and talking to victims of terrorism and also saying at the same time, buy my shirt, buy my pants, buy my shoes. You should because I'm stylish. That's what you should do. And it takes any sense of charity out of it. And so that just doesn't work long term. It just will not work for her long term. And it's just going to be a disaster, guys. It really is. It's just going to be a disaster. But let's go ahead and answer a couple of super chats, and then we'll move on to the third man in Harry and Meghan's relationship, or the third in Harry's relationship. Who's the man? Which is Marcus Anderson, because it's weird. It is weird. Duchess of Camelot says a guest was sued by Prada because they copied their logo. Oh, interesting. Oh, that makes sense. I can see that. Very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. You sue somebody who copies you. You sue the pants off them. That's what you do. Once you've trademarked and everything, and even before then, you have kind of like common use of of certain things. And so you can sue the pants off somebody. And that's what you should do. That's what the royal family should do. And so again, guys, at the end, I'll get into what I think is the royal family's kind of what they're doing here. But you might have to remind me because, again, my brain will wander. But hopefully we do. Anna says, hi, Brittany and Ms. Pippa. Good luck on your ongoing move. Hopefully It'll get better soon, and then unpacking, you surely will be busy. So, because it's kind of a partial move, because I'm kind of more in a transition place, I don't have to pack and unpack immediately, but I do have to kind of pack and the kind of like half pack things that I can get out. I can't put all the books away because I need some of the books for projects and those sorts of things. So, it's kind of been complicated, more complicated than I would probably like it to be, but it has been good at the same time. Stephen Magnus says, Bondi, Meghan got her one left eye tear photos. Yeah, of course. She's just so fake, guys. She's so fake. This fan said, if they had to ask me to pose for photos with these two when they visited the hospital, I would gladly have my child being photographed with the Waleses. Thank you so much for the super chat, Diz fan. And yes, as you would have said, I'd gladly have my photograph with the whales. Yeah. And I don't think people should really criticize the parents or anyone for saying, oh, I want to give my kid this moment with this famous person. I don't think that's necessarily the route to go to. It should always be focused, guys, the criticism, because some people are like, well, we need to, reach out to the hospital or whatever. I think the criticism should be some ways on the hospital, yes, for allowing this. But the criticism should remain with Harry and Meghan wanting constantly to be charitable when they're really being anything but. Charity, like they did it this tour, the whole tours and everything, it was very royal coded. If they wanted to promote, again, their businesses, then do that. You don't need to do this royal stuff. There's no reason to do this. No reason at all to do the hospital visit, any sort of charity visit, the homeless shelter visit. No reason to do any of it. In fact, I would suggest not to because you don't really need it. But they just sad. Stephen Magnus says, touristic kids, sniff clay, black tights, biggest victims, master cook, Leith laying 2-hour gala, rugby with Marcus, fly home, cash in. Yep. That's right. Carol said Maxima's tour wardrobe for the U.S. state visit was colorful and beautiful. It was. I think she did a fantastic job. I really wanted to cover that, guys. I did get the notification I'm on the mailing list for the Dutch Royal Household. I really wanted to cover it. I'm so glad I didn't reach out because I would never have been able to pack it in with moving and going to Sweden. If I wasn't going to Sweden at the end of the month for King Carl Gustaf's birthday, I would have done it. But going to Sweden, they only let us know, let's say, I think 3 weeks ahead of time. So it just wasn't enough time to kind of get everything organized. And then I got sick, and that put me back quite a bit in this whole move process. So anyways, guys, let's now get back to the weirdness that is Marcus. And there's definitely, guys, so much to discuss here when it comes to this whole event. And so we're just going to look at the Her Best Life podcast pictures. Gemma looks pleased as punch. Meghan looks dead-eyed. I don't think she cares at all for Gemma. Poor Gemma. Nobody cares, Gemma. It says, we could not adore you more, Meghan. Thank you for your vulnerability, honesty, and joy. Meghan, it's so weird that none of that is actually true. Meghan Markle has never been vulnerable. It's all artifice. None of the stories are to end up generally being true. She is not honest. She tends to lie. And I don't think Meghan Markle is joyful. I think, honestly, she sucks most of the joy out of life, if I'm going to be quite honest. Oops, cancel. The outfit isn't terrible. It's just not great. But I don't think Meghan cares at all. And this pathetic pink backdrop. So sad. And laughing. Do they really care? No. Laughing again. Did they not? Could they not? Okay, guys. Just as an aside, miking. You should make sure the mic is as inconspicuous as possible, and that mic is as conspicuous as possible. But she only stayed there 2 hours, guys, because she does not give a crap about any of this. That's just going to be absolutely just 100%. It's Megan doesn't care about any of these people. She stayed there for 2 hours. She does not care. She was just there for the paycheck for this event. So Gemma's whole thing about, oh, Megan loves our community so much. No, she doesn't. No, Megan could not care less. But this is a photo. And I think there was maybe another one too, but this was the photo, guys. This was the one, Marcus and Harry. And you got to wonder too here, Harry, attending here was in this like such lame room was like Megan wasn't she supposed to be sat at the VIP table, but we got Marcus here. I'm sure we got Gemma. Was anybody else allowed to attend that table? But the Marcus question is getting weirder by the day. Why does this man travel with them all the time? Is he and the thing is, it's like if we had an established, let's say, role with him that he was their PR manager or something, that I would understand. But he looks like he is just there all the time with them. He was there at their a mental health event where they got an award in like October or something, and she wore the black suit. He was there then. He was there at her South by Southwest event where she spoke with Brooke Shields and Katie Couric. He was there when they were carving pumpkins. He's there all the time. And I'm sorry, but that's not normal. That is not normal at all. It's really weird. Catherine and William have staff members who travel with them, but they're not like seated next to them as friends. Like I would say they're friendly, but honestly, so this is my thought process is that when it comes to people you work with, there is I think a good thing about having sort of a kind of a balance in that relationship. And so like because if you're like best friends with the person you're working with, I don't necessarily always think that goes the best. Like you can be friendly, but they're not friends. Like Catherine and William would not travel with their assistant unless they needed to travel with their assistant for some reason. Like when they went to, and I actually found this magazine because the Paris match or whatever was forced to, I think, remove the pictures. But I have the actual magazine of Catherine and William with their kids on a ski holiday in 2025, I think it was. And like, I just saw them as a family. They weren't there with like their assistants and stuff or their like adult friends. Like, not that they can't travel with their adult friends, but this just seems really odd. And again, I would not be surprised if in a couple of years we hear a couple of things. Number one, that Harry will complain there were 3 of them in their relationship: Meghan, Harry, and Marcus. Harry, I would imagine, may complain at some point in his life that Marcus was there all the time. He could not get away from Marcus. Marcus was always there, and that he liked Marcus, but then things sort of changed, and he realized Meghan was pulling away, and Marcus was pulling away with Meghan, and these sorts of things, and Marcus was causing a divide. Like, I could definitely see that being a distinct possibility. It's there's just no reason for him without a defined role to be traveling with him all the time. It makes it look like she's needy. There's also a video of her and Marcus walking along the beach. And of course, they had very conspicuous bodyguards, so you immediately picked up on them. It's like, if you guys could walk like normal people and not have like 6 bodyguards around you, you might be inconspicuous, but you look conspicuous. So, you gain attention by looking like you want attention by trying to conceal that you want attention. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know if you can see, but Miss Pippa, let's see if we turn it around. She is, oh, you can't totally see her. Hold on. There she is, guys. She's got her little head out the door. Sorry, she's so cute. She's so cute. Oh, she's loving it. Sorry, guys, I had to show you that. I just thought that was too cute. Anyways, so the Marcus traveling all the time with them is increasingly odd. And in this picture, even how they're framed. And I sort of understand because Marcus was friends with Gemma, and the friendship with Gemma kind of facilitated this event. But how in the world, like, there's just no reason for him to be with them all the freaking time. And I think he is with them all the freaking time. And that's not healthy for a dynamic. That's not healthy at all. He is there with them seemingly at every like important event. He is there. And I find it quite disturbing and weird. And I'm just wondering, like, why? Okay, hold on. You got to get a picture of this real quick. There we go. Okay. And so it's he has some role. I don't know what role he has in their dynamic, but I would not be surprised again if at some point we hear from Harry or somebody else going, yeah, there were 3 of us in this relationship. Meghan, myself, and Marcus. And Marcus was doing this. And then, okay, this is not, I have no deeper insight into anything, but this kind of maybe, let's say, helps us move on to my next sort of talking point idea here. Because we like to kind of have things formulated in a group thing together. But why isn't the palace doing anything about this? Rebecca English did discuss this a little bit in the article. What she said is that, well, basically the palace sentiment is that they're sort of frustrated by it. But as long as Harry and Meghan don't do anything too egregious, they're kind of taking a hands-off approach. Okay. Guys, that has been tried already. And it failed massively with Prince Andrew. It failed horrifically awfully with Prince Andrew. They tried the wait and see approach, only to have it blow up in their face numerous times, by the way, at this point. And what's frustrating from what I see is that no lessons have been learned from Andrew. Zero. And the reason I bring this up in relation to Marcus, and again, this is just mere speculation. I'm not trying to say anything about him and what he's doing. I really don't really know anything about Marcus at all. But guys, Harry and Meghan are going to find an Epstein-like figure at some point, because they're motivated not by, like, they don't have real jobs. Like Meghan's like, she was never a Grace Kelly caliber actress, so she couldn't grift back into acting. She has nothing. She's very, very talentless and vacuous. And say it again, talentless, not talented, talentless. But because everything is motivated by money, which we've seen in this trip, it's all money. Everything is about money. They will at some point find their Epstein figure. There will at some point most likely be an Epstein type figure in their life. Why? Because they want money. And people who want money, people who are easily, let's say, swayed by the idea of money or more money or what have you, tend to fall into dangerous traps. Because again, they're not being prudent. Guys, even with emails, I am incredibly careful about, I don't really click on any links in emails, guys. So I know some people sent me, and somebody sent me like a video thing they wanted me to watch. I haven't had a chance to respond, but I will say, guys, I don't click on any links in that people send me via email, because I don't know what the links are. I will go around it somehow, but I'm incredibly prudent about that, because I'm guarding, what I have built. It's actually kind of funny. I like watching Katie Van Slyke's stuff, and she just said, well, my YouTube has been hacked. I'm like, oh no. But I was like, I bet you somebody clicked on a link at some point, maybe one of the members of her team, because she has a big team now. And that's kind of the risk you run when you have a big team, is that somebody could click on the wrong thing. And it's one of those things where it just needs to be, you just need to be very careful. But the reason I bring that up is that if you don't have boundaries and discernment and good judgment and these sorts of things, you will fall for somebody like Jeffrey Epstein. And again, not saying anything about really Marcus at all in some ways, because I don't really know him in the slightest. But guys, I would not be, let's say, end up being surprised if at one point it turns out that Marcus was an Epstein-like figure in Harry and Meghan's life. Not saying he's manifesting the same way at all, but that he falls into immense controversy. Something about him comes out. And of course, it damages Harry and Meghan as well and the rest of the royal family because Harry and Meghan still have titles. And that Harry and Meghan got involved in something they shouldn't have been because they were connected to Marcus. I like it's hard to ignore that being a huge possibility in the future. And that the palace doesn't seem to see that is very frustrating. Because again, guys, we have the analogy of, Coca-Cola. If you put a K on that, that does not make you Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola would sue the crap out of you. And the royal family should do the same thing with Harry and Meghan because they're taking what should be the institution, and Harry and Meghan are tarnishing it, and they won't stop. They will never stop. And this will just get worse. This will just get worse because Harry and Meghan, again, they're desperate for money. He's dumb, and she is dumber than she thinks she is. She thinks she's brilliant. She's rather dumb, I think, as well. And so the two of them can't, again, rub a creative or business brain cell together. And so the money that they have made is off the backs of the titles, the royal connection, these sorts of things. Again, most of this argument, guys, would go away if they were doing this on their own merits, but they're not. If they had created careers on their own merits, but they haven't. Princess Madeleine of Sweden. She's a great counterexample. She, what was it, 2012, 2013, moved to the United States. Maybe it was earlier than that, maybe 2010 actually. Moved to the United States. Worked for her mother's charity, obviously offset by her parents. And okay, Kay says, "Oh, sorry, Brittany, I have to leave. Severe storms heading my way. I hope you are safe." Obviously, it's Tornado Alley season here in the United States. So, anyways, but Madeleine moved to the United States, kind of took a back seat in her royal role after, a couple of, sad situations and stuff. And she met her husband, married, and he supported her in terms of that he was making the money. Like they were in New York, then they moved to Sweden, then they moved to London, then they moved to Florida. And now they're back in Sweden. And he's financially supporting her. She doesn't get anything from the government. And she had this idea for a skincare line, guys. I'm so excited in a little over a week to go and buy some Minlin. I will be buying the whole collection that I can of Minlin. And she decided she wanted to do the skincare line with Welda. She partnered with a good company. She's going under technically Madeleine Bernadotte. Now, technically, obviously, she's Princess Madeleine. We know she's Princess Madeleine. She can't avoid being Princess Madeleine. She was born Princess Madeleine. Her father was a king when she was born. So that changes the dynamics of how she's moved through the world in a lot of ways because it's not like she was elevated or anything. Like this is how she was born. And so she obviously has fame because she's had fame since the moment she entered the world. So she can't avoid that. But she's like, I have this idea. Let's go. And her husband are working on it. I would say it's been pretty successful so far. I don't know exactly their sales figures. Skincare realm is notoriously brutal, like basically everything in the cosmetics world. However, I will say that her brand is interesting and unique because she's actually specifically targeting children. And what I mean by that is that she's creating a skincare line that can be used on any age, baby, infant, all the way to elderly. And she did this because she noticed that children, her own included, were getting more and more interested in skincare based on what they were seeing on like TikTok and Instagram and these sorts of things, which is true. And she was like, well, I want to create a product line that recognizes that this is an issue and gives the kids an outlet that does not harm their skin. Great. So I think that's fantastic. That's a great business idea. So she's running with that. Who knows how successful it will be in the long run? That I don't know. But it was a business idea that made sense that she's worked on. It's one thing. It's not like she's trying to do 12 things. And she's not really kind of utilizing her royal title to sell it. She can't avoid it because, again, that's how she was born. And it's helped, of course, but she's done it sort of on her own. Meghan's not and Harry aren't that way. Everything they've done is in relation to their royal titles. And unfortunately, that's not going to work in the long run. And it diminishes the monarchy by their behavior. And the monarchy is just like, well, they're not doing anything too egregious. But again, I go back to the Epstein situation. At one point, will it become egregious? And will it be too late to address it? That's a problem. That's a problem, is that at some point it will become too egregious. And will become too egregious in a way where you can navigate well, or is it going to be challenging? Because again, the problem with Andrew, guys, is that they let that wound fester for decades. They knew about the Epstein problem for decades and just let it fester. And then it's and the wound just kept getting worse and worse and more pus filled and everything. And then it just burst and there's excess bile everywhere. Kind of gross analogy, but anyways, they do that, or sorry, not they do that, but the result of that has been damage to the monarchy overall. And it was behavior that was decades in the making until it burst forth. And it's like Harry and Meghan are the same way. They're in this mess, and it's, at some point it's going to burst. And do you want it to burst where you're completely out of the picture, i.e. no connection? Harry and Meghan no longer have titles, no longer in the place of line of succession, no longer a counselor of state? Or do you want it to happen when you're trying to integrate them back into the royal fold and they get caught in massive scandal? Because they will be. Mark my words. I would almost 100% guarantee, I would take bets on this, they will be marked in some sort of scandal. I mean, already, she's announced this one-off thing a couple of days ago, and she's already been caught marching off visiting terror victims. What else is she going to do? Who knows? Who knows? And that's where sort of the Marcus thing comes in here too, because it's like I'm sorry, but he seems like a shady figure to me. He seems like a shady figure. And so because of that, they're going to get caught in something. And the monarchy should take the lessons from Andrew, which is to not let wounds fester, but to excise them and be decisive. And yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah, it's going to bleed. Yeah, it's going to be messy, but it's better than the alternative, which is no monarchy at all. I don't know if the British monarchy can, especially, let's say, if a scandal happens within the next year or two, not only with Andrew, but with Harry and Meghan as well. Does the monarchy survive that or not? And what does it mean to be royal? Are you going to stand and be royal? Or are you going to let anybody who claims a royal title go off and do whatever the heck they want, commoditize however they want? This needs to be nipped in the bud. Now, Harry and Meghan were emboldened because you didn't nip Sarah and Andrew in the bud at the time. And so Harry and Meghan were emboldened by you lacking the desire or the decisive action to deal with the Sarah and Andrew situation. Because Sarah and Andrew did the same thing. Especially Sarah. She commoditized the title. She, let's say, is not quite as desperate as Meghan in some ways, but she 100% commoditized her titles, did everything she could to make money from her titles. And she was even divorced when that happened. And she did that with absolute impunity for years until it came out, she was also a friend with Epstein, which should have been obvious. And it's like, it's just aggravating that the monarchy has seen how things can go so wrong with rogue royals and still refuses to deal with them. And I think this is a weakness on Charles. I believe William will do something to address this, because you cannot allow this to go on. Now, yes, in 5 to 10 years, Harry and Meghan will be largely replaced by the Wales' kids. That's all anybody will care about, is the Wales' kids. But Meghan, again, is willing to do anything to get money. And so she'll never hit the basement. She's one of those type of people because she has the D-list actress mentality, is that she's going to constantly grift, constantly beg, constantly plead to do things because nobody's asking her. And she will, of course, step on the wrong landmine. At some point, she will, Harry will, one of them will. Both of them will. Or maybe again, it could be Marcus. I don't know. And they will look weird for being in a relationship with him. And they'll have to navigate it because all of a sudden it looks like he's the third in their dynamic. And I think when it comes to Marcus, he is, I don't know quite what role he serves, but I don't think it's a normal one in a relationship. I don't think without him having a defined role business-wise, he has no business traveling with them as much as he does. He has no business traveling with them. I think he's with them all the time. He might even be living with them. Who knows? It's weird. He might actually be Meghan Markle's only and best friend. And like, I think he's gay, but even if he's gay, like having friends with the opposite sex, if you're in a marriage, is just not a good thing. And it's like, who knows? Maybe he's putting the moves on Harry. I don't know. But we're heading into dangerous territory here. And Harry and Meghan doing this in Australia with the royal connection, obviously, is still is why I think there was at least a surge of positivity in this visit. But at the same time, and again, looks like Harry and Meghan, especially because we know Catherine and William are on break right now because their kids are in school, that Harry and Meghan are more than willing to try to outshine, diminish, whatever, pull down the monarchy and make the monarchy and mold it into what they want. But Charles is king, and you got to be king sometimes. You can't just sit on the sidelines and like pout that your son's not talking to you, because you know what? He might never talk to you again. And he's a brat. And unfortunately, you raised that brat. And he has been influenced by Meghan. And I think maybe sometimes the idea is, well, if Harry could just get away from Meghan. But it's honestly too late for that at this point. Harry made a decision to get into a relationship with her. They're not going to stop. They're never going to stop. They have nothing else. This tour proved that they have nothing else, because if they were really successful in Hollywood, I don't think we would have this tour. But they're not successful in Hollywood. I think their success is diminishing by the day. And there's nothing they won't mind, no tragedy. They won't vulture in order to enrich themselves. And it's not a good look. And the royal family, I think, looks bad by not intervening, looking, they are giving it like a passive confirmation, you could say, in a weird way. They're very passive, but they're like kind of passive, like, well, we can't do anything, so we're just going to watch them do it, because we can't do anything. You can do something. But again, it's going to hurt. But sometimes that's life. Life hurts. Life's tough. Get a helmet. Charles, your son didn't turn out to be the man you thought he would be. So sorry. He didn't marry the woman that anybody thought he would marry. He didn't marry a kind woman, a nice woman, a woman who cares about anything else but her own bank account. He didn't marry that woman. He married Meghan. So you just got to deal with the cards you're dealt and not wish for the deck not wish for the serve you didn't have. Or not wish, is this serve? Not wish the deal that you thought you had in terms of being dealt cards. Trying to make the card analogy work. But this has just been a disaster. And this Australia trip from the outside may look successful. I don't think it's been that successful in some ways. And it doesn't make up for the failures. Netflix has now had 6+ years of looking at returns for Harry and Meghan, and they haven't been good. They had one good thing, but the rest are not good. And that's why they backed away. Even if seeing all those people, they're not going to change their minds. Guys, Hollywood overall, guys, is failing. It's a dying industry, which is quite sad. It killed itself with wokeism. It killed itself with woke. because they can't create good stories anymore. And so when it comes to Harry and Meghan, like there's not that much there. Even Netflix is slowing down productions. They're not greenlighting as much as they used to. The money is drying out kind of sort of for everyone. So because of that, Harry and Meghan, I don't think, guys, my again, personal opinion here. I don't think Harry and Meghan have much of a future in Hollywood because the Hollywood future is already dimming for a lot of people who are infinitely more successful than they have ever hoped to be at some point. So I don't think they have much else, to be honest. Unless they come up with a hit. And I get, guys, things could always change as we get more information. Maybe they finally figure out something. But honestly, unless I think the only time they'll be a success is when they're either ragging on the royals or they have a minor attachment to something. I don't think they'll be successful any other way. I don't think they have it in them to be successful. They're not, again, they're talentless individuals. So, guys, that is what I have for you, but we got to look at some of the other pictures really quickly of this whole podcast thing. I wonder if they'll share it or not, but this all cannot look more fake. And yeah, Meghan, I'm sure that's the only time she talked to Gemma. And they will never talk again. I almost guarantee you. So, guys, we do have Team Wales WC said, I just want to say hello to the Royal News Network family. If the rights Warren do no show, they are cause the Royal Tour. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah. It's just bad. It's just bad. Hopefully, was hoping Catherine and William would maybe do our tour down under this year. I don't think that's a strong possibility, but it's kind of like I was kind of hoping they'd go to Oz. But honestly, at the same time, guys, oh my gosh, the flights are so stinking expensive. At least I want a layback seat. I'm getting too old for long hauls, sitting up, especially like 18 hours. I'm like, I need a layback seat, and that's what I need. Yes, guys, I'm getting bougie in my older age. I like to be bougie. Anyways, but oh my gosh, nice plane seats, man. Those are the bomb. So, anyways, guys, those are my main talking points for today. And Miss Pippa, has decided to grace us with her little itty bitty presence yet again. Let's see if we can see her. There we are. Sweet girl. Okay. So, guys, we will answer your questions here. Calmy Cordelia says, can I share here that I have this app that lists all the monarchs in England from Alfred the Great to present day, showing all the dates, titles, spouses, issues, etc. It's fantastic. That is awesome. That is awesome. Nicole says her outfit isn't too bad there, miraculously. Yeah, it's not too bad. The SpongeBob SquarePants look was really quite bad. And was styled horribly too. Like she has no sense of fashion because like if I was, let's say, forced to have a sack dress, and I do have a couple of dresses that are, let's say, more tunic-like, I would always belt them to give them shape. I need shape. It's more flattering. Okay, sorry. She's just doggy edition. She is so cute. She heard somebody. She's laying down by the door, and then she heard somebody, and she's like, I gotta watch. She usually, guys, is out on the porch, so she must be like, I kind of want to be on the porch, but I also want to hear what you're doing, Mom, just because it's like been so traumatic that that stuff is leaving. We moved a couple things out today, and I think she's like, where are they going? Where are they going? Where am I going? She's coming with me. Nicole says, Brit is bougie and classy. Love you, Pippa. Thank you. Thank you. And hopefully not too bougie, but I was like, man, for long hauls, man, they're I just can't sleep on planes. That's my problem. Frigg says doggy edition. Yes, we have got the doggy edition today. It was just fun to do it down here. Nicole says Pippa's tail wagging tail. What a queen. Yeah, she's a baby. Clifford says novelty one agrees with you. That is why the BRF just ignoring them because they do not represent the monarchy or the British government. It is up to the places that they visit that they should ignore. Yes. But again, you have the complication. This is the thing with having those titles still around, is you had the weirdness of, well, they're royal, but they're not. Are we going to offend the royal family if we do this or that? I don't know. And so they almost, I think everybody sides on the road of extreme caution, which they shouldn't, but I understand why they're doing it. And again, this comes back to this weird realm that Harry and Meghan are in that needs to be further clarified by Charles. And he just doesn't seem to want to do it. Sir Squirrel says Miss Pippa's on the job. Yes, she is. She's guarding the neighborhood, man. And she's gonna have a new neighborhood to guard, and that's gonna be, she's gonna have to get used to the new beat. Riley's US_USA says, Meghan and Harry are 10 years too late with everything. Selling luxury when there's a cost of living crisis, posting curated posts when people want unedited, relatable things. Yeah, I agree. She's totally behind the times when it comes to like branding and those sorts of things. So like let me pull up here real quick. So I just thought this was so good and so smart compared to, gosh, that was so bad. So let's see. So this is the latest as ever email, which says, a thoughtfully stocked pantry is more than practical. It's a quiet foundation of our everyday, the ingredients you reach for without thinking, the ones that turn simple moments into daily traditions. Okay, all she has is spread and honey. Like none of these are like, I would argue, big staples of the pantry. Our curated pantry essentials are just that, staples to replenish time and time again. Delicious fruit spreads that make breakfast brighter, teas to calm your afternoon, and honeys to sweeten your day. Because the best pantry isn't just stocked, it's lived on. And I just think that's a terrible email. Like, it's a terrible email. But here's the one I actually really thought was actually quite good. And I just think it's good to show a counterexample of what a good email should look like. And so this is Lisa Eldridge. And let me see if I can find, there we go. So she sent this email because I ordered some stuff from her recently. She said, hi, beauties. I fixed my bronzer shade for spring in 60 seconds, and so can you. Watch my latest tutorial for the hack I use on all my celebrity clients. No new products necessary. You'll likely have everything you need in your makeup bag already. Click below to watch my new same bronzer, different season video. So I love this email, guys, and I think it's good to show counterexamples of what good emails versus bad emails look like. Just because Meghan's really bad at it. So this is not actually, yes, there are products you can buy. She's telling you, I'm wearing these products here, but she's not actually trying to sell you something. She's trying to actually give you help and assistance. You want to, utilize, you need some bronzer, but you're kind of in between seasons. It's a new season. You're not totally in your, let's say, summer tan yet. Here, I will tell you how to do that with the things you have in your beauty collection right now. I'll tell you what to use to give yourself that bronze look. Brilliant. I love that. Great email. Fantastic email. So I really like that. Heather Cranford says, ignoring a narcissist is the biggest insult to them. That's true. I think she's 100% a real narcissist. And she but it's hard too, because if you totally ignore her, she can pay a lot for media attention. So in some ways, though, you have to combat her narrative with the truth. And because you can't just ignore it, otherwise her narrative reigns. You know what I mean? So I understand that, but that's kind of the challenge. Aaron McLean says they would have not shown protests. I think they would have. DeLove says, hey, Marcus is Harry's handler. I don't know. It's just weird though. I don't know what role he plays, and it's odd. It's odd that a grown man is traveling a bunch with a married couple. And If he's working for them, working with them, or whatever, that should be specified. Otherwise, again, it looks really weird and creepy. Marjorie says, why did the Australians book them for these events or TV and they were paid to put them on? Because they wanted the publicity. I mean, you get publicity if you invite them places. You do get a lot of noise generated for you. It converts sometimes, doesn't convert on other times, really. And again, I think some people like that very, very ugly. And the brand name is even awful. Friends with Frank. Anyways, that the dress apparently sort of is back on pre-order because it's sold out. But you might get that like kind of steam once in a while, but it's not translating overall because I've seen it. We looked. Sure, Squirrelot says Harry said himself, not family, but family. A. Alexis says she's not hugging, she's hanging on this woman. Very true. Riley's USA says two boys lost their mother at the same time. William focuses on his healing and helping others. Harry keeps scratching old wounds, rehashing the past. He keeps harping on what the world owes him. Very true. I sort of forgot about Harry's kind of like, whining that, oh my gosh, when I would come home from work, I was so stressed and I would hold Archie and he'd cry. And I was like, well, that's about you, buddy. Like Harry, like he has severe, seemingly mental health issues. It's sort of shocking when you think about it. It's really shocking. Frank says her whole social media presence is behind the times. It is. It is. And I think too, when I think of social media presences, because guys, I am thinking about like a project here, hopefully that can go live maybe next month. Is that feel like people want to learn something. They don't just want you selling them something. They want to learn something. And I think the Lisa Eldridge post there hits the mark where, yes, her products are there, but she's actually going to teach you something. And she's a professional makeup artist. She's done Keira Knightley's makeup, Victoria Beckham, Kate Winslet. Like she's done a lot of makeup for very famous people. Isabella Rossellini. So she is very well established. So you trust her that she has the expertise to go, okay, look in what makeup you have. I'm going to pick out one or help you pick out one that works for you, and we're going to use it. And you don't have to buy anything I'm selling. I don't even think she's selling bronzer. But what I think is smart is that when you can teach other things, then that facilitates helping you sell certain things. So if you're not teaching anybody anything and you're just trying to sell them things like as ever, I think it falls flat because it's like, well, you're not teaching me anything. You're telling me a well-stocked pantry is great. It's like, well, my pantry's not empty. Like, how is that spread you're selling supposed to help my pantry look thoughtfully curated? And that's like weird too. That's very Instagram speak. So it's just weird. But I think overall, guys, my personal thoughts and opinions are if you, especially now in this sort of new age, if you're going to start an Instagram or TikTok or something, and you're going to be more in the influencery space, it can't just be look at my fashion. It needs to be deeper than that. You need to be teaching people things, showing people things, like, showing how you're quirky, unique, and interesting. I think that's what people gravitate to, or at least I do. Like, I just don't want to watch a person, like I see all those people at Coachella, and like a lot of them look like, oh my gosh, the most vapid, vain people you could possibly imagine. I mean, I'm sure they have big followings and they appeal to younger people, and maybe it's because I'm older, but it's like I just wanted like somebody to like. That's why I like watching Katie Van Slyke. I've learned so much about farming. And I've also learned I cannot do it. That's the most important thing. I couldn't do it because it requires you to work every day. I mean, I work every day now, but like you have to get up every day on the farm and feed the animals. So they can't go without food or water. You got to get up and you got to address them. And the more animals you have, the more time that takes. And and I think that's a great thing to learn. But Meghan doesn't teach us anything. There's nothing deeper to her Instagram. It's just look at pretty picture. Like, and she even tried and attempted to sell us guys a bouquet of flowers, but she didn't even tell us how she made any of it. Let's see. Let's go back to As Ever Official here. Was it? Yeah, she didn't even tell us how she made her bouquets at all. So if she comes, sorry, I'm like trying to facilitate multiple screens here. Come over here. She's just, oh, it was a video. It was a story video. But I was like, look, I'm at my little thing here. Can't help you with anything though. And look, old picture again, steaming cup of tea. Okay. And then she used to actually do the picture where if you cut off it was just the bottom of the dress and it looked freakishly kind of like hanging picture. But this is obviously a 2-year-old picture. It says sweet, bright, and just a little indulgent. The finishing touch you don't know you needed. But Meghan, what does that mean? It's so bad. It's so bad from a business perspective. It is very, very bad and very behind the times. So Squirrel Lot says, he said we have to get over it. He's royal and is entitled to represent. Yep. Lauren Ferguson says, yes, novelty. You cannot engage. They must be completely ignored. You have to Markle them. You can't be mentally healthy relationship with one. Again, it's just hard because you can personally do that, but when you're hiring relentless publicity, it's just not going to stop. But at some point, guys, it will, they get a big blip here, but it dies for a while. Chita says she seems behind the times with every aspect of her life. It's like she's trying to live out her teenage dream. I agree. I think she lives in Montecito because Oprah Winfrey bought a house in Montecito in 2005. That's why she lives in Montecito. Becky Lee says, wait until you're in your 60s like me. Kay Palace says, Harry built his personality around losing his mother at the same time he admits he doesn't remember her. Yes. Everything's about losing his mom. Wine, wine, wine. I don't want to be royal anymore. It's people go through those kind of phases, but he seems deeply disturbed. And I don't say that lightly, but I think he's probably awful to live with. Riley's USA says, Meghan and Harry also trying to sell their victimhood on Oprah when people are dying and trapped in COVID. Yep. Angela says, the Sussex squad are out in full force this week. I was told on Twitter that I need to be kind and not have so much hate in my heart. Tell that to Meghan first. Yeah, I mean, even her thing talking about how if you put kindness into the world, basically kindness comes back to you, it's just proven that not to be true with Meghan, because the quote unquote kindness she puts out into the world somehow is always toxic. She's the toxic one. Kay Palace says she will always be perfect and it excuses for every one of his failings, whereas William has healed as much as he can. Yes, William has healed. William is mature, I think. And I think because in part, he sees his mother as a person, not as a saint. Abertasso says, hey, hi, Brittany, and everyone just got here. And Becky says the green sack dress was horrible. It was genuinely horrible. Briggs says she is engaging her followers. Maybe. I don't think so. Elf Friedas says, I think this is the second time Meghan has sent out an email about the ads of her pantry. Yes, none of it's selling. None of it's selling. And I don't think she can make more product until she sells the old one. She can't sell product and she's going to Australia pointlessly. It's dumb. Good God, she is a massive bore. She is. Carol said the email is in English and understandable. And that's about all you can say about it. Marjorie says Prince William seeks answers to mental health problems. Prince Harry loves to live in his. It's all he has to preach about. No answers, just issues, which Meghan panders to. That's the difference. Very true. Princess Goose says if you don't have those items in your beauty collection, it's a sale for her. It isn't, but she's not forcing you to buy it. You can watch the video and not buy anything. That's sort of the point. There are things you can buy from the email, but I think the smart thing there is I'm going to teach you something using the products in your collection already. Because she still uses, if she does makeup tutorials or whatever, which she does, she doesn't, she uses her own products quite a bit, but we're talking about Lisa Eldridge. She doesn't always use her own products though. She still uses other people's products. And she doesn't have everything. She does not have a bronzer. So that entire video, she's saying, I can teach you how to create a bronzer with items you already have. And you don't need to buy one from me because I don't have anything for you to buy. She doesn't have bronzer. She has blushes, but she has no bronzer. And I think that's really smart. That's how you cultivate your followers and those sorts of things, is by saying, I have information for you that you might find helpful. If you want to buy something from me, great. But hopefully, through connecting with me via this video and what I'm sharing, that encourages you to, at some point, is to look more at my products. That's a great way to go about it. Megan's just doing always the hard sell, buy this for, and like, it's hard sell, but it's not, because it's like she's always trying to sell you it, but doesn't give you a good reason to buy. And it's just always, anytime Megan sends an email, it's always about selling something. Whereas Lisa, yes, she's including her products, but she's also going, hey, I can teach you something. Heather from the Hood says, smart, you don't have to buy her products, but you know you will. Yeah. The Love says, it's unfair that 60-year-old Fergie can't merch off her status, but Harry and Meghan can, and it's hands off. Very true. Ju B Francis says, real question here, are narcissists born or made? I'm not sure. I think there actually is, there are people who are, that's how they're born. And that's how they've always been. Mhm. Heather Cranford says, yes, I understand. Well said, Brittany. Okay. Scroll says, HG Tudor posted the wide shot pictures of no crowds. Yeah, I mean, there are no crowds. I mean, there weren't huge crowds, but there were crowds. Like, again, some people want to go, oh, nobody was there, nobody was there, nobody was happy to see them. No. Like, there was people who were there. There are people who were excited to see them. But at the same time as well, it wasn't like massive earth shattering. Like, you need to be realistic, I think, which is a little bit smarter than going, oh, no, nobody was there. Melly says, I respect more if they got rid of the titles, then it wouldn't matter if they were making money like that. But the titles, it looks so bad. It does. That's the thing. When you're doing all this with the titles, because of the proximity, you're dragging the royals into it. Aaron McLean says, I think probably news agencies tried to show protests would be banned from future events. That tried to show protests would be banned from future events. I really don't think they were protests, guys. I really don't think they were protests. Because think about it for a second. I mean, maybe a little bit over like the police and the tax issue, but you also have to understand too, if there's crowds gathered, you do need police for crowd control. That's like not terrible, but most people won't take time out of their day to protest something that is like just kind of, it's just a quick happenstance. You know, people have better things to do with their lives. It's a little bit different, let's say, than protesting the monarchy overall, because Charles is a political figure. The other royals get hit with a little bit of that, but not quite as much as Charles and Camilla do. But I just don't really think that there's a bunch of people who are like, yeah, let's go out and protest Harry and Meghan. They have and do have better things to do with their lives. But again, I don't think, even if there weren't, let's say, protesters there, do I think this Australia visit maybe moved the metric much on Harry and Meghan? Probably not. Nicole said she stayed on stage for 20 minutes. Yeah, she wasn't there long at all. She's like, get me out of this freak show. I don't think Meghan cared at all. Which again is such a lie for Gemma to go, oh, Meghan loves our community so much and so excited to connect. It's like, no, she's not. Stop lying. John says, copying off Princess Diana with Camilla and Charles. Lauren of Ferguson says, my ex, the narcissist, so was his mom, his aunt, and his grandmother. Interesting. Sir Squirrel says, Brittany, is it difficult to use the new AI platform for the clothing? I don't get how this one-off thing is any different than like anything else. I think Shopmy is better. I don't understand what the AI feature is, except for if it trolls online to find, let's say, lookalikes or something after your initial batch sells out. Yeah, but they're selling the exact thing she's wearing. So like, they're not showing you, like, it was supposed to like curate a wardrobe for you or something. I'm not seeing any of that. This looks no different than Shopmy to me. And so just from a kind of an investment standpoint, the website is bad. The functionality is bad. You had people leave already, and it's barely a year in. And it's at least for right now, I see no difference between it, Like to Know, and Shopmy. So I would not invest in it based on that, on just simply that. I was like, I don't know what this thing stands for. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. To me, it's very confusing. I'm just very confused as to what the AI functionality is. I don't get it. So in that way, I think it's a massive fail. Don says Don Bonami says she isn't an actress, period. She never was a good actress. Yeah, for sure. Clifford says they have nothing to offer the world. Honestly, what have they really done that has positively benefited those in need? She had to take pictures with sick kids for her Instagram. They are manipulative. Yeah. And it's weird too. She's not doing anything on her Instagram, which I find really weird. It's like, what is the point of this Instagram? I don't understand. And guys, she's about to drop to 878,000 for as ever official, by the way. Sue Clark says Harry would have come home from what work? Being royals, apparently. It's so difficult, guys. Linda Hogan says definitely dead-eyed, like a shark or a snake. Yeah, she has nothing behind her eyes. It's very dead. Lauren Ferguson says even newborn Archie doesn't want to deal with his feelings. While holding his newborn, he's thinking about his feelings. When is he ever about the kids? Yeah, they're both massive narcissists. DeLovely says they're connected to Tyler Perry via Lilibet. Very true. But nothing stuck to him yet. So RV says, why are you shocked that Harry's mental state? He's been showing his true self since he left the UK. Yes, but like the more and more it goes on, the more and more it becomes clear. And the more and more I think Harry doesn't understand that he looks very mentally unstable, which is kind of fascinating that he keeps going on and on about how mentally unstable he is. Princess Goose says Harry has 3 emotional support dogs and he needs to use his children for support too. Wow, he really has mental health issues that aren't being treated even with hallucinogens. Yes. Miss Karina Chua says, hi, Brittany. Meghan is out of control. Is not end well for her. The drama she caused in Australia is too much. The whole world is just like, I'm very angry with Meghan. I don't know if I would say the whole world, but yeah, this is not going to move the metric. This is just not going to help her. Lauren said, my pantry isn't thoughtfully curated. No, I'm sure it's thoughtfully functional, though, for what you need it to be. That's the thing. It's like, it doesn't need to be curated, Meghan. It needs to function. It needs to be functional. That's what people want their pantries to be. Melly says, the attention is all negative. It doesn't convert to money. No. The Lovely says, every empire collapses. It's eventually bound to happen in this technology era that the monarchy collapses. Like, maybe, maybe not. Like, I hope it doesn't. It survived a long time, but Heather Cranford says, you're not that old, Brittany. Why, thank you. I'll get it out there. Ritz says, my pantry is crazy, but has my favorite things. Yep. Princess Goose says, I think Coachella hype isn't as big as it was 10 years ago. Yeah, it's funny though. I watch all these people and I'm like, don't you guys have better things to do with your lives? Do like any of you even care about who's performing? No. Kristen M says, it was reassuring to see a lot of media criticizing the Australia tour much more than we have seen in the past. Very true. Clifford said, did she mention she has 2 kids who are 7 and 4? I'm sure she did. Abertosa says, Brittany, thank you so much for doing this live, but please rest and look after yourself. Well, thank you. I am actually doing something fun this evening instead of moving more. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm like, I just need a break. Juju Francis says, my husband has our pantry sorted by meals. No joke. I love that old man. Good for him, man. Good for him. Heather from the Hood says, she didn't make the bouquet. The professional flower lady did. 80-person crew. Very true. Rich says, she thinks by virtue of marrying Prince, she is an expert to be admired. No, exactly. A royal title is not a magic wand. It does not imbue you with talent you never had. Don Benami says, wonderful eye, Brittany. Thank you. You are welcome. Yeah, we'll wrap it up in about 9 minutes because my event, we've been in my small group. We've had 2 weekends where we've watched 1 episode of Lord of the Rings. So we did Fellowship, 2 Towers, and now we're ending on Return of the King. And I've been enjoying rewatching it. Some people have never seen it, which is crazy. Actually, one person was born when the first movie came out. And I'm like, oh, I feel old because I remember going and seeing it, and I wasn't a kid. I was like, early teens, I think. But I was like, man, I feel old. But it's funny too because a lot of people in the group I'm in, they're 5 to 10 years younger, and some of them have never seen Lord of the Rings in the movie theater. I'm like, wow. And I feel like I grew up in like the era. We had the Disney Renaissance. We had Lord of the Rings. I saw Star Wars for the first time in the movie theaters with the original New Hope for the 30-year re-release or 20-year re-release. So it's like I feel like I was blessed, man. Good time to be alive for movies. Now not so much. Clifford says she has no skill, but it's good as victimhood, and Victim RS has reached the stratosphere. Very true, and it isn't working as well as it used to. Coastal Angel says, I think whoever wrote for the tick isn't writing for Meghan now. No. Nicole says, I buy better flowers from the grocery store. Her products are repulsive. I mean, I'm sure the flowers are good, but it's just not great. Kate Fox says, Harry might be the most entitled man on the planet, truly, just like Meghan might be the most entitled woman. Very true. Grella says, they keep seeming able to find willing partners, though. I don't know when this will stop. Left up to Meghan, it will never stop. It never will. Guys, this is the thing. Meghan, even if they're divorced, even if she's canceled, whatever, she will always be grifting because that is her personality. We will never be rid of this woman. Harry has ensured that for the rest of the world. So thank you, Harry, for inflicting Meghan Markle on us. Kay Palace says, you cannot represent a royal family when you left your duties. You have to acknowledge you have to have the acknowledgement and support of the institution. Yes, but again, it's that confusion thing of people. They don't know quite how to treat Harry and Meghan, and that's why I think actually stripping the titles and everything is a good thing, because it then tells people, hey, there's a firm line here. They're gone. You need to don't treat them in a particular way. Albert says, when she said Archie looked over and giggled, it showed how stupid she really is. So Squirrelot says it was a Canadian young woman, and no, she no longer does Meghan's media. The PR after have been more controlled, so they quit. Interesting. Coastal Angel says, think someone higher up showed they only had reporters while they were entered. Maybe. Frick says the kindness has to be real. Very true. Nicole says she made Harry hate life that was provided him with everything he was used to be happy with. Yes. Lovely says if they refuse to clean up the mess now, Hollow the Monarchy will just be meaningless by the time George is 18. Very true. Jeremiah says she's amazing. Don't know who that is, but when it comes to Meghan, I would say she's really quite pedestrian. American Wild Bell says, I feel so sad because I used to root for the royals. I still do for Catherine and William. I find myself disgusted with Andrew and now Charles's way of handling things. The magic is fading. I would agree. I'd agree. The mystique of the monarchy is starting to fail. Indigo Rose says, if he doesn't want to be royal, then give up the titles. Separate yourself. Exactly. Nicole says he is so delusional now. Facts. Very true. Lauren says, I know Meghan strategized her marrying Sperry, but I'm still amazed how immature they are and how they ended up together. Me too. Coastal Angel says, Brittany, what are your thoughts on Harry contradicting Meghan's pregnant Archie narrative? I mean, again, I think she makes things up all the time and he steps in it because he's too dim to remember. And so they clash about it. But I'm not surprised. Right? Carte Blanche says he's using losing his mom as an excuse for all his problems. William went through the same experience and he is still closer to his mom than Harry was. Yes. Yes. And William saw his mother as a person. Harry sees her as like a saint, and it's not healthy. Riley says, I feel sorry for William has to strip the tiles himself. They need to be gone now because if William has to remove them, they'll try to overshadow the coronation. I think it'll be a fight to remove them. Sue Design says, if the monarchy ends, the worrying about not wanting to be royal won't matter anymore. Then what will be his next grift? Very true. Frick says, not Meghan. The other email was engagement. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Veggie Kate says, why doesn't she just do what other celebs do with product lines? Social posts of themselves using items, getting their friends to use them, etc. I don't know. I wish I did, because that would be so much smarter than what she does. I just don't know. Because honestly, I think people don't use her products because they don't see her using them. Alexis says, does her jam have an expiration date? I'll have to look. I think it does. Hold on. Let's look maybe. Hold on, guys. One brief operational minute. Curious misfit of what is given. Are you getting up with me? Sorry. beer lounging on the couch. So here is my original as ever. I don't see an expiration date on it, guys. So, well, maybe it's here. So I think it's August 27th, 2026 is going to be my guess. It looks like it's either a 6 or an 8, but it's rubbing off there, so I'm not sure, but that's what I think. So anyways, you can see it's been well used and loved, hasn't it? Oh man. Abertasa says, Brittany, I think it would be so interesting and fun to travel with you. I want so much to join you next year. I'll be back in Australia, so hope can make it happen. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. I think Florence is going to be and Tuscany is going to be amazing. So if you guys want to join, again, we will have a discount code next week. They're having a promotion with the company Trova Trip that I work with. So I will make sure to share that with you all. It says she's beating that serve yourself and don't bother me thing like a dead horse. Lazy, good for nothing. Princess Goose says it's during the work week. It's not a convenient time to protest. But when they protest the other royals, it's during holiday or weekend. Yeah. Gorilla says, my personal opinion is that narcissists are born and made. The worst on the spectrum generally is probably genetically geared to develop. Probably. So DeLovely says, just a tiny criticism, but these long disappearing breaks because of the kids are on break is excessive. That's about Catherine and William. I do tend to agree. And they just, I think, need to step it up a little bit more. I understand that one day William will be king and that will change everything, and maybe that's going to happen sooner than the couple would like. But other royals seem to do it well. Catherine and William just not so much. And it's just like every time it's like, well, the kids are off, so we have to be off the entire time they're off. And I'm like, that's because what worries me is a little bit of the example they're setting for the kids, which is that when your kids are off, you don't have to do anything. And yes, they're probably working behind the scenes or whatever, but I do think it's true. You must be seen to be believed. And even the general workforce is kind of moving into the more everybody needs to be in the office. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But I did get a question about our Italia trip here. So this is from Desert Mermaid. So we'll pull it up here real quick. Hold on. Because I am very excited for this one. Copy trip page. So in case you guys are wondering, definitely be thinking about it. And we'll probably just end here just because I do have to head out here in not too long. But Desert Mermaid, I saw you ask a bit more about this Italy trip. So here we go. Oh, like it's going to be, so pretty. If you like wine tasting, cheese, olive oil, man, this is going to be the trip. So you have all the details here. Trip activities, Florence guided walking tour, free time in San Geronimo, visit Pienza, creamy visit and Pecorino cheese tasting, Montepulciano visit Castellina and Chianti, olive oil mill visit and tasting. Really looking forward to the olive oil tasting. Visit Rada and Chianti winery visit Montenegroni, guided walking tour of Siena, and Tuscan cooking class and dinner, guys, that I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be amazing. And again, this is a year out, so this is quite a bit out. So every trip starts with everybody arrives that first day. Usually we try to do something. I try to scope out the city the day or two before to find stuff for us to like do. Because obviously you can go to Florence and see the David statue and stuff. And then there's the Birth of Venus. So You can do that in Florence. So we have a welcome dinner, and we have a walking tour of Florence. And then we kind of get back, we get on our, because we start in Florence, we get on the bus, and then we move over to, move over to Genaimo. And then we're doing Tuscan countryside with Pienza and Pecorino. It's going to be fun. Got Chianti wines, olive oil and castles, it says. Oh, sounds fun. Siena tour and free time. Siena is a big historic city in Italy. And then Florence, we're back in Florence for artisans and farewell dinner, which will be a Tuscan cooking class and dinner. So we'll create our own 3-course meal, starters, homemade fresh pasta, and main course under expert supervision. The cooking class will end with a delicious dinner, which I would imagine we make ourselves. So if you want to learn some homespun cooking in Italy, this is definitely the trip. So I'm very, very excited about this one. And it is April. We'll have a couple of even more discount later next week. And it's April 12th through the 18th. So it's going to be amazing. 6 nights, 7 days. So that'll be a gorgeous spring break if you're looking for one. Heather says, do you ever plan to do another Christmas trip to Austria? Like I've debated. So I've kind of debated because they did have one to Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia as well, but I haven't signed up for one yet. But maybe, although I have, it's a bit harder to travel in the winter, I find. So if people want it, maybe, but we'll have to maybe put it up to a vote for something. So guys, I will leave you though, as we end with Yo Miss Pippa Play. Say hi, baby girl. She's busy guarding the neighborhood, guys. She is so busy guarding the neighborhood, and she's making sure everybody's super safe and that there are no bad doggies anywhere. And so anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I'm going to take off this evening. Hopefully have a little bit of a fun night watching a movie, and I will see you guys again very soon, probably maybe on Sunday. So guys, thank you so much again, and I will talk to you later. All right.